rAVe Radio. With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves with Gary K.
Hey everyone, this is Gary K. Welcome to a special edition of my Rants and Raves video cast. Look, I'm stoked, excited, whatever word, insert amazing word here, that DSE is coming back. It's coming out with a new name, DSE. It's Experience now, which is better because that's what digital signage is all about, creating really cool experiences. The show's coming back in March. New ownership, new management from a company that runs shows for a living. So this is going to be an awesome thing that's going to happen in 2022. I'm also excited and honored to be a big part of helping bring the show back to the industry through all the, we're going to do the rAVe Now thing there. We're going to do a bunch of other stuff. We're going to shoot videos. We're going to do a lot of stuff there. We're going to help bring that industry back where it should be. And I'm excited to be joined with two of the movers and shakers of making this actually happen. One, you'll recognize right away, Brad Gleason. Brad, how you doing, man?
Excellent, Gary. How are you doing, man? So excited to have you guys as part of the show. Really excited to be bringing Digital Signage Experience back to the digital signage industry in March of next year.
Yeah, and Brad, you're a perfect person to be part of this. You're basically you basically are helping to bring that show back and working with Marion Sandberg. Marion is vice president at Questech, and Questech's the company that acquired the DSE, former DSE show, now re-engineering the digital signage experience. Marion, you've got a lot of experience with people probably may know you from LDI. You got a lot of experience with shows, so I'm counting on some big things for DSE.
Well, thanks. We're counting on some big things too. I mean, I think what's really exciting about this is, to your point, Gary, and I think probably most importantly, is we have Brad on our team, right? And we can't overstate how important that is, and how when we connected with Brad right after the acquisition in March, it was absolutely a click, a very natural fit for us. As someone who has a lot of legacy with the DSE brand from the very beginning, it was just, like I said, a natural match for us to bring him on board to help us. So he is the executive producer of the show for us. And we're happy to, I come from the LDI show, as you mentioned, and this is a little bit of a new space. And as I always say, it's tangential, but shows won't cannibalize each other, but we understand technology shows. So this was a natural fit for our portfolio with LDI also. But we're very happy to admit what we don't know so much about. We know shows. We weren't super in the signage space. So bringing Brad on board was absolutely number one priority for us. So we're really happy to have him.
And one of the first things y'all did was you formed a committee of sort of the industry influencers and movers and shakers of people who have been in digital signage for a long time. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But the first thing I want to tell everybody, and one thing I want to make you aware, is that registration has now opened, and you can actually use a special code, rAVe22, rAVe, all caps in this case, rAVe22. Go to digitalsignageexperience.com, or the description that's written below this video cast, wherever you're finding it, whether you're on LinkedIn or Twitter or on our website, wherever, YouTube. You can register now by going to digitalsignageexperience.com, click on register now. And I want you to go ahead and register, even if you're not sure you're going to go, because this show is going to be special. And I think that you're going to be really happy because Vegas is a great place to be in March. I think that we're gonna hit timing wise really well with this show. Some of the supply chain issues are going to be behind us, and there's a lot of excitement about ad agencies and experiential marketing making a big move. Marion, talk about that for just a second, because I know that's one of the areas that you're focused on is the experiences, which is the whole reason why you changed the name of the show, right?
Yeah, and I think, a lot of people talk about the experience economy, and I'm not sure if people necessarily know what they're talking about. I can say, coming from a place where, for the LDI show, we kind of have looked at it from the entertainment side by, like, we understand what experience is, right? Because in entertainment, that's what entertainment is, right? So the sort of leveraging that knowledge from not only being like an events company, but from coming from the entertainment side, I think there's a lot of stuff that we're leveraging internally that people understand how to produce shows, which is obviously number one, right?
Right.
Folks are coming. At the end of the day, it's going to be an expo, right? But how can we make that better, and how can we make that an experience? And having the folks on our team, from sales to operations, who understand how to make a show just that little bit more. So how we can step it up, and that we reserve the right to call it an experience and not just an expo. So things like creating a better user experience for attendees, creating a better show flow on the floor, creating a better user experience for the exhibitors. I mean, let's face it, these folks are paying a lot of money to come and show their wares, and what are they getting out of it? And these are all things that, as I mentioned earlier, having Brad on board is like super duper because of his knowledge of the market, and pairing that with the QuestX expertise of how to run a show, like not just efficiently, but in a space that the show is entertaining for everybody also, I think it's really going to be special.
Well, you're going to start with that experience right off the bat with your keynote speaker, Rafik Anadol, who I actually know him and worked with him on some projects that he's done with Epson. Brad, what a great choice to kick off the show. He's done this amazing digital art stuff, but look who else is presenting. You've got the person who put in all the cool stuff at the Florida Aquarium. You've got Telescene there. You got the city of West Hollywood's represented. You've got look at the brands here. Vistar. I mean, that's programmatic. PQ Media, Signage OS. These are all the speakers that are there that have been signed up so far. Of course, Publicis Sapient on the ad side brings us back into the ad industry and the experiences that are going on in the world of advertising. Brad, I know that Rafik Anadol is a big coup for you, and it was intentional.
Yeah, absolutely, Gary. In fact, Marion gives me a lot of credit, but what I did really is connect the new owners of this show and the idea of the concept of the digital signage experience with a really great group of industry advisors, all of whom from Rich Ventura to Laura Davis Taylor and Nick Belcourt from Purelist, Jeff Hastings from BrightSign. And together, the 12 of those advisors and I really worked with Marion and David Drain, our Director of Conference Programs, to come up with, how could we make this show tremendously better and tremendously more interesting, both to attendees and exhibitors. And so things like changing what we look at as a speaker and a conference presenter was one of the first things we identified. In the past, basically companies that paid enough for an exhibit booth got to do a keynote address. And what we're trying to do is change that and make the keynote speakers and the conference presenters, really important to the attendees and make them something that's really going to be inspirational and educational to folks that attend the conference. And so it's really with the help of that advisory board that we've completely re-engineered the show, from the way that the floor plan is laid out to the conference program, to how we interact with the exhibitors and the attendees. And I think the folks who attend and the folks who exhibit are going to really see the difference.
Yeah, and in fact, here's the floor plan that you've got laid out so far, and of course, you're gonna have some big brands there. We already know of a bunch of the big display companies, which are sort of been the anchors of the show for many years. But what's going to be new with the digital signage experience that the DSE was really never able to do is going to track the content producers and the people that are actually doing these events that are using signage. And I think those are two pieces that have been missing in the past. Marion, let me ask you about some of the other partnerships that you may have going on during the show that might help bring attendees an interest in the show, because I know that this show is not going to be exclusively about digital signage. There's some other stuff going on in and around it that'll make it kind of interesting for people to attend. Yeah,
it's a great question. We do have a unique position of being part of a larger company, right? And
right.
So being part of an events producing company, we can leverage those other brands. So probably most of you who have been to the show before are familiar with the nightclub and bar show, recently rebranded as Bar and Restaurant. We happen to also not Brad and me, but we happen to also own that show as a larger company. Yeah. So there's a lot more synergies that we can create in those spaces. We have created a badge partnership with which, let's face it, the former owners did the same thing. We're going to do a little bit more than that, right? We want to have co-branded experiences with them. And also we have a lot more, as they do with us, ability to leverage their attendance and their lists. I mean, data is everything, right? If content is king, data's a pretty close second, or, maybe beating it out in this world. But also across our parent company, QuestX, we have hospitality. We have, lots of other brands, and you can check out some of our partners, because our media partners are all listed on our website now as well. And a lot of those are QuestX brands.
Yeah.
And I think that's really going to help bring in a new group of people who maybe in the past didn't know the show. We want to create experiences for people who go, hey, what's that? And how we can create tours on the show floor for them to better understand the technology, make sure the right people are in front of the other right people. So making those connections is super important to us. I think also, especially as a basically semi-new player in the space, right? We have the brand, we purchased the assets, but we want to make sure that we're part of this community, because one of the most important things I think we've understood is that this is a close community, and we've come from other brands that are close communities, and we want to make sure that we're welcomed into it, and don't try to reinvent things, but also take what was there and just improve upon it.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that that I deliver this message to two different groups, and we have a lot of people. And by the way, don't forget, the show is March 22nd through the 24th, 2022 in Las Vegas Convention Center. You can register at digitalsignageexperience.com. I want to I see this. We have people who watch and listen to my video casts and podcasts regularly who are from two sides of the industry. One is the attendees, right? Integrators should be coming to this show, but also end users should be coming to the show that are using digital signage. But also manufacturers. I think a lot of manufacturers are still on the fence about shows, but also on the fence about DSE because of the legacy that where DSE came from. I'm going to send you a specific message to those manufacturers that are watching this or listening to this or get this message. You'll be making a mistake by not at least showing at some level, because of QuestX's ability to draw people from the other industries that Marion alluded to. You're going to have the ability to be exposed to different kinds of customers than you would have been exposed historically exclusively at DSE. The second thing is the focus on the advertising and experience industry is going to draw a different level of attendee as well. So you're going to have three different kinds of attendees coming to this show that of which two of them we didn't have before. We never really got. So I think if you're on the fence, you should go. Now, I don't get paid if you go. I don't make any extra money if you go. I'm not getting on the commission or anything like that. I'm just telling you that I'm excited to see a digital signage exclusively focused show back in Vegas. And I think that there's an opportunity here. So, Brad, I don't know if I missed anything with regard to some of the cool things that you're doing in and around the show. I mean, we covered education, we covered the experience, we covered the partnerships. What about the association partnerships? I know you have some there as well.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. That's exactly where I was going to go next. Gary, thanks for bringing that up. We're really proud to have successfully partnered with many of the key industry associations that both utilize digital signage in their world and also count on the technology that will be on display at the show. The most notable of that one, first off, is the Digital Signage Federation, of course. There's been a long history of partnership between the Digital Signage Federation and the DSE, and that's really the core industry association for the digital signage industry. But in addition to that, we've partnered with the DPAA, the folks who do basically the place-based media advertising on location, as well as the Out-of-Home Advertisers Association of America, the OAAA, and the SEGD, which is the Society for Experiential Graphics and Design. And so, so we're excited to be able to have all of those partners as part of our event this year.
Yeah, and we've worked closely with DPAA and also the DSF over the last few years, bringing both events and also conferences and things for them together. And I know that they're going to help in a big way. And I know they're excited to bring their education as well as their audience to this show. So I'm excited about this. Again, March 22nd, 23rd, 24th. On the screen, you see the code right now, rAVe22, all caps though, for whatever reason, it's all caps. Sometimes that has to happen. rAVe22. I'm excited to be part of the show. I'm excited to be bringing our team to make sure we cover the show. And I'm also very excited to be working with Brad again. Brad and I have worked together on projects in the past, and I'm excited to be working with you again, Brad. And it was great to meet you, Marion, and congratulations to QuestX Quest Tech for grabbing this show. And, you know, I don't even think I need to wish you good luck, but I'm excited to see what happens in early 2022.
We are too. Thanks so much for having us, Gary.
All right. So don't forget, register at digitalsignageexperience.com. Use code rAVe22. And of course, if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'll connect you with Marion, Brad. But of course, you can they're linked. If they click on their names below, you'll see it go straight to their LinkedIn profile, and they both check their email on LinkedIn. So you can reach out and have any questions. If you want to participate, you want to exhibit, if you're on the fence about attending, send an email to me and I'll give you my opinion on it. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. Everyone have a great day.
Rave Radio with